Gentlemen, aliens, whatever you identify in this wonderful, beautiful world, welcome into the Hunter Houston ESG podcast. As always, I am your host, T Diddy, Tommy, Thomas, whatever you want to call me, Hunter, whatever. I answer to just about everything. Hey, you, baldy guy who wears hats from time to time, so forth and so on. Tonight, I have a special guest, and we're talking about games that scare you or games that have a horror theme or scary theme, and where most of it kind of started off from. Our guest tonight is Residentdarrell from the Residentdarrell Show, Residentdarrell from the Loot Bros podcast, Residentdarrell from the Ninjaloot Christian hardcore death metal band.
What's
Lots of
up?
good riffs that he actually had as a death metal band player. Sir, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm sorry. I'm actually kind of a little disoriented. So I changed my setup a little bit. Camera's over here. You're over here. So I'm just trying to make sure I get my layout right. Man, I am doing wonderful, Thomas. It is a beautiful day. I just got off of a tear of recording some podcasts with our good buddy Tricky Mick over at the Trophy Horse, ProvenGamer.com, all that good stuff. And I sent you a message. I was like, hey, man, I got some time. If you got some time, let's make it happen. So I'm stoked
He
to be.
actually had me do a meme for him. I'll have to send it to you, but he actually had me do a meme for him, so I will send it to you as you go through who you are, what you do, and where you can be found on whatnot, YouTube, and also the wonderful, beautiful eBay.
Man, I like you said, I'm all over the place. I've done a few things here and there over the years, from music to video game podcasts to YouTube reselling stuff. Right now, currently, YouTube is the place that I try to send everybody. YouTube.com/Residentdarrell, two R's, two L's. So that's where the kids and I do our reselling videos, our going out and game hunting and things of that nature. I think I'm going to be trying to go do some more live podcasting on there in the coming weeks. I'm cooking on some stuff to try to get the podcast back into the flow of things. 'Cause I used to do that so much years ago. That's where you and I became friends. And so whatnot, Resident Darrell as well. We've got a Facebook page. Haven't made the Instagram yet. My wife actually said something the other day about you should probably do that. But Resident Darrell and the crew on Facebook. That's me and my kids. Man, I've just been trying to post pickups, post our videos, and just really try to take advantage of social media in a way that I have failed to over the years, because it's not a thing that comes natural or super fun to me.
Now, what is
But
your Twix account, aka X account,
I don't,
aka
ha- I don't,
Twitter?
I don't have one. I used to have one pre 47, back when it was 45. When 45 got kicked off, I bounced off. It used to be Resident Darrell on there, but when 45 got the X on Twitter, I said, "Deuces." I just never went back. I probably should. I just haven't.
Watch Will at Will Ain't Dead on X take your account and start posting random things.
I
Like, I'm
love
gonna take
Will.
that handle.
That's a funny guy. That's a funny guy.
Yes,
So,
he is from time to time. I'm over here breaking stuff.
dude,
Now, um,
me too. I'm knocking stuff down. I'm trying not to touch anything right now, but so earlier I was on with Tricky, and I got like stuff going on this monitor, stuff on this monitor. I just picked up a Series X the other day, and I got it hooked up, and I was just downloading stuff to it, and I'm I got a mess. It's a stack of
what are
games
you
over here.
currently playing?
Oh man, so Dying Light the Beast. It
Okay.
is my game of the year so far. I do have Silent Hill F, and I do have Chronos New Dawn. Haven't played them yet, so I can't say that Dying Light will be better than them. But Dying Light is so incredibly fun, Thomas.
It's an action game. I have Dying Light. I just don't have the Beast DLC. I have
So,
Dying Light 2. I just don't
so,
have the Beast DLC.
so Dying Light by yourself,
Uh huh.
first-person parkour action horror, really leans into the horror. Dying Light with a friend, just madness. It's so funny. It is crazy what you can do in that game, and how adding a friend or two friends really does change the dynamic.
Now, you mentioned Tricky Mick. Now, if you just basically say there's some remnants of the division in it, he'll be on there with you in a heartbeat.
I know, right? He told me that earlier. But Dying Light 2, departure from the first game, not nearly as good. Dying Light the Beast was supposed to be a DLC that just became a full game,
Okay.
and it is amazing. It is more Dying Light 1. Dude, 10 out of 10. So good. Like, I have one complaint. It's stupid, but the grappling hook,
Okay.
when you get it, is not nearly as good as the grappling hook in the first game. That's it. Everything else is so good. I just can't stop playing it. I'm not playing it so I can podcast, but dude, tonight.
Now, here's the thing: is we met over a little game called Ghost of Tsushima and making a trade, and I'm currently playing Ghost of Yutei, which is the not a sequel but 300 years in the future. The only downside to that is the story is pretty cut and dry, and other than that, if you loved Ghost of Tsushima, it is pretty much the exact same game, same mechanics. It's fun. It's more polished when it comes to the mechanics. Even the combat feels much more fun. And then there's three different director modes, or like video modes, where like one has like more gore, more violence, but the camera's a little more tight. So you may want to, after you kill people, change back to your regular camera that's open. You have the Gazawa mode, which is in black and white, and then you have an anime style mode. But do I like the game? Yes, I love the game. I have a friend who only bought it for the multiplayer, and he's like, "Well, I'll hop on it when the multiplayer comes out because that's how good the first one's multiplayer." And I know you didn't play the multiplayer for it religiously as I did, because I have at least probably maybe 75 hours in the multiplayer alone. It's super fun. It's super awesome. That is the only game I will strongly recommend to everybody to play, the multiplayer or the single player, is Ghost of Tsushima. If you have a PC, or you have, what's going to be coming with the Xbox Game Pass, if it survives, uh, maybe they'll get that for the PC or whatever, but or for their handheld, if that even makes it out of the gate, depending on what's happening with them. I feel like there's the biggest implode happening, which it can happen to a better company after they told their customers during the Xbox One, well, if you can't afford it, well, I guess
Get
you
an
should play
Xbox
the
360.
Yeah.
I do. It's so funny. Tricky and I were just talking about that. It is a race to see who's going to go out of business first: Xbox gaming division or GameStop. Like they're trying to see, they're racing each other to see who can go tits up first.
GameStop will survive because they will keep changing their platform.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the thing: is you only need maybe one or two brick mortar stores in large cities, and you can survive. But you just have to basically. They don't look once you cut all the fat, and there's been a lot of people who have retired that I know that are GameStop, general managers and stuff like that. That they took their buyouts and got the hell out. So they are going to find a way to survive. It's not. It may come under a different name. The worst thing they ever did. See, this is the thing: is when big corporations normally buy out smaller corporations, they keep those names and they keep them as separate entities and they keep them going because they're making them money. Where the GameStop made the mistake is they basically put everything under the same umbrella. They put everything under the same, corporate thing, and that's what's screwing them. Do you understand how many things are owned by Wendy's that you don't even know that's owned by Wendy's?
Oh, I'm sure a ton because they bought a bunch
of restaurants, but you don't know they're owned by
Arby's and stuff like that too.
So you don't even know if they're owned by Arby's. Yeah, same thing with Arby's. Arby's owns what? Arby's owns Burger King, right?
There's a bunch of them.
They own a bunch of things. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to eat here. Oh, you're going to eat Arby's because they get the same meat from Arby's. And it's the same thing with GameStop. GameStop made the mistake of, hey, let's get rid of EB Games, which I'm originally an EB Game employee / manager. Let's get rid of FuncoLand, which FuncoLand was the heart and soul of gaming.
It really was.
Let's take care of Rhino Games, which was actually fun little system area as well. Rhino Games was super awesome.
I got my wife bought me. Let's see. We were dating. We weren't even engaged yet. She bought one of the first games she ever bought for me. No, not sure. She bought me Resident Evil 4. She paid off my pre-order for Resident Evil 4. But at Rhino Games,
was this for the GameCube or was this for the
Special
PS4?
Edition Steelbook, GameStop Limited Edition Steelbook for GameCube? No, she bought me Dead Rising for the Xbox 360. That was the first $60 game we'd ever bought because that was
the first. Only on the Xbox for the longest time. It was an Xbox exclusive from Capcom.
Yep. And it was crazy, $60 for a game. And she was waiting tables at the time, So it was like that was a big deal that she bought that for me. For the record, I'm getting a light on over here. So you're good. I just want to let you know what I was doing.
I know we're going to be talking about horror games, but what really gets me going about the horror games that we're going to be talking about is that the painting you have in the background, you can imagine like there's a lady coming out of it, or like zombies or demons coming out of the back of it because it's in black and white. So you can just use your imagination with that. So if anybody came back with AI and took that and like, oh, there's random evil people or demons coming out of that picture because it's in black and white.
You want to see something cool? This is so you see how my camera's positioned to make it look.
Last time some dude said we want to see something cool, he showed me his wiener. So I don't know if I want to ask that.
Well, I mean, no. But like what I do in my office is I have it's an office and a den, and so I had my fourth job interview for this position I've been going for. I had it today, and so I got the camera faced over here to where it looks like it's an actual office, and it's really nice. But if you turn the camera, you can see all the cool stuff. You got my guitars, my figures on the wall, and Resident Evil 2, all that good stuff.
Is that a Terminator picture or poster?
No, that is actually the Batman versus Superman record, the soundtrack for Batman for BBS.
Okay. I just automatically thought of the meme that I had posted up for everybody of Sarah Connor.
Yeah, no, it's just funny because like I knew I had to wear a suit and sweat shorts. I had like my top on and everything, but I had sweat shorts on and Crocs. And then I was like, oh, let me turn that camera so you can't see the guitars and the action figures on the wall, so I look like an adult. I'm gonna actually move that some more.
Okay.
Just because I'm looking awkwardly at you. So this
Fair enough.
There we go. Boom. Now I can look at you and then kind of almost be looking at the camera too.
There you go.
So that's
all right. So we're going to take a trip, ladies and gentlemen, aliens, down memory lane of scary games or games that basically take place. Now, look, I had played the original gaming system of paddles. I had paddles. I had an Atari 2600. Really no scary games on Atari 2600. I didn't have it in television, but I had a friend that had it in television. Dungeons and Dragons was not a scary game because it was just looked like pencil drawings, okay? The only thing scary about that was maybe Frog Bog, and that's frogs jumping over the moon. That wasn't scary. That was just a fun game because it was just, simplistic. It was easy. Now, games didn't get scary to the NES. So let's take a look, ladies and gentlemen, at these NES games that we're going to be looking at here. I'm going to pull that up for us, pull up the list, and show Residentdarrell. Here's our list. Look at that. Nightmare on M Street, which was actually had scary music in it. Then you have Friday the 13th. I've never heard of Creepy Brawlers. Have you ever heard of that game?
I haven't either. Is that like that's Mega Cat Studios? So that's like a modern game that's been put on cart.
Then you have Chillers, the game, which I've never heard of that game either.
I don't think I ever owned that one.
Haunted Halloween 87, which I've never heard of that, but I've heard of Haunted Mansion. But these are kind of like the top games, and I don't understand how Castlevania even gets put into the horror category of scary games, because the only thing scary about Castlevania was Simon's Quest, when it says wait for a giant wind to pick you up, and then you have to sit in one particular spot, you have to sit there for so many seconds kneeling, and if you're not kneeling, that thing doesn't pick you up. Do you understand how many hours I wasted in that spot and then quit the game, then restarted the game? Because there was no internet back then, ladies and gentlemen. There was only gaming magazines or the Nintendo hotline, and we couldn't. If I would have called the Nintendo hotline, let's just say I probably wouldn't be walking to this day because we didn't have money like that to call the Nintendo hotline. Oh, Maniac Mansion. Sorry,
Maniac Mansion. I was about to say that one.
Shadowgate, Dr. Chaos, and maybe was it Max Fondue or Fax Fondue or whatever it was? Yeah. That's another one.
So what was the zombie one on there? Because I was trying to think. I had Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That was Nintendo. That was Super Nintendo, correct?
That was Super Nintendo. That is correct. That is Super Nintendo.
I was trying to think about what horror thing.
We're actually going to skip Super Nintendo because they didn't really have very many scary games other than Clock Tower. and that was like the only really scary game that they really had. It's like nothing really stood out. But Friday the 13th, man, scared me because you'd be in a room because it goes first person and then it goes to third person if Jason pops out and it goes whoosh, and it's like almost like a really jump out, kind of scares you, and then he's trying to kill you, and then the music gets really frantic. So it really kicks your butt, man. It really does a good job of putting you down. Now, out of all those games, which ones have you played? Because I've played all those games. Oh, and we didn't mention honorable mention to Fester's Quest, which we were talking about earlier.
That was one of the ones.
And it was only scary when it was in first person view when you went into a house and then you fought that alien. Spoiler alert: the game's only 30 years old.
So as for me, I only played the ones that you showed off. I only played two. I played Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. And I don't remember a ton about them other than them just not being great. Like, I don't remember that as being games that I was super thrilled about.
Now, the thing is with the Nightmare on Elm Street, that was buggy, man. It would glitch out from time to time. Though, if you do play Friday the 13th, play it as Chrissy. She's fast. She moves fast. She's my girl. And usually she stays alive. Most of the time you have to worry about the African-American kid because because Jason usually wants to kill him first because back then, you always kill the black person in the game first.
I mean, they said it in the movies. I don't know.
So that's one of those ones where you just randomly kill some rando. Now, let's move on to the king, and I really do think this is where horror games took their place and really took off more than anything else, and they are the king of horror games, and I cannot say this enough. PlayStation 1, let me pull that list up here, and it is a beautiful, immaculate list. Look at this beautiful list, man.
It changed my life, dude. That's really where I became a real gamer and not just someone who casually played video games because
Look at this.
they had them.
Alone in the Dark, Clock
Bang.
Tower,
Bang.
Dino Crisis. I don't consider a horror game. I consider it an action survival game.
It's Resident Evil reskinned with dinosaurs, so it's
fair enough.
Yeah,
Fear Effect, I don't really consider that a horror game, but that's me. Parasite Eve absolutely is a horror game. That still messes with me to this day.
So good, dude.
Silent Hill 1, yes, that was
Banger.
creepy and scary. Chaos Break, I've never played, so I don't have anything. Gallerina, or what is it?
Yeah, Gallerina's. It falls into that theme, that cluster of Resident Evil, Silent Hill clones.
It was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
I don't remember it being scary by itself, but
it was not scary by itself. It had some good overtones. Evil Dead: Hell to the King, action adventure game in my opinion, but with zombies.
Yep.
So because of his quirkiness, and I believe he did do the voiceovers for all those games, if I'm correct, right?
That's too far back for me to remember.
Fair enough.
I was
Nightmare
a big
Creatures,
fan of.
good concept, should be brought back today with modern graphics. 1 or 2, Nightmare Creatures was amazing for what it was at its time.
It's crazy we hadn't got that back yet. Because do you mess with premium very much, or do you mess with?
I have premium.
Okay, I do too. And most of the games I've bought anyways, and they've ported them over, so they just unlock them. But I do have premium. And dude, it's been amazing just playing these PSP, PS1, PS2 games being brought forward with trophies. And so many of those horror games, man, they are ripe. Like, we're ready for them. So
now, the one that kind of introduced everybody into horror games, or at least the correct way into horror games, Resident Evil, and the bad voice acting. And I think that's where a lot of people fell in love with the genre of not just the movies but the games themselves, where you were looking for that jump scare.
Yep. I love the my brother and I often quote the games at each other, but just blood.
Oh, and Vampire Hunter D is not a horror game, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a game where you play a vampire. I don't consider that a horror game, and it could have been actually good if the controls would have been a little bit better. The controls just weren't good enough to make that game good.
What do you think about Legacy of Kain? Do you consider that a horror game?
I consider Soul Reaver a horror game. The original Legacy of Kain, I consider that just a British RPG. The very first one, because remember, he's not a vampire yet. Spoiler alert again, it's a 30-year-old game. He's not a vampire yet. He doesn't become a vampire till later on in the game. Well, actually, I think 30 or 40 minutes into the game he becomes a vampire, but still, or some form of a
It's
vampire.
early, and it's early, but yeah, I know because the first mission is essentially like a instant, you can't beat death. No matter how many people you kill, you're gonna die. You're gonna
But
come back as
Soul
a vampire.
Reaver #2 is a horror puzzle game. And here's the one thing I want to say, and that I think that's really important that a lot of people don't understand, is I've been playing a lot of platformers lately. PS5 platformers, PS4 platformers, Uncharted. If you brought in the Uncharted element of platforming, of jumping the cliffs, or just like that whole, like, you're trying to survive, like being hunted or chased, where you have to go through all these things like Crash Bandicoot, where that big boulders coming down, and you have
Mhm.
something like that for horror games, that I think would be really cool if someone would do that aspect. I know Hideo Kojima's working on a new horror game. I'm sure you watched the trailer for that.
OD. Yep.
So, I mean, what really makes horror games stick out for you? What elements does it have to have other than music and I'm sure music and atmosphere are number one, but what else does it need to have other than music and atmosphere?
Tension. Tension is kind of what the balance of what makes a traditional horror game versus a action horror game, or what makes a traditional, survival horror game versus a game with horror elements. I feel like if there's no tension, and there's no balance of tension, then it's just a game with horror elements. And I think a lot of stuff that gets clumped into the horror genre is just a game with horror undertones. But
Okay.
yeah, tension. Now, sometimes tension, like depending on how you structure the gameplay, is what balances the tension. Like, for example, I love action horror games where I can defend myself. Right? When it comes to fight or flight, I'm a fight, not a flight. I don't enjoy playing
You're a
games.
Resident Evil 5 guy.
Right. Oh, 100 second favorite game of all time.
I'm a Resident Evil 5 guy.
Yeah, I love it. But I don't like Alien Isolation. Incredible game, but I stayed so tense the whole time I was annoyed because I couldn't fight back. Same thing with Outlast. The Outlast games, in theory, should be some of my favorite games, but I don't like hide and seek horror. I like, oh, that's a grotesque creature that wants to kill me. Let me kill it first horror. That's what I like.
Would you have considered Pitch Black, the Vin Diesel game
Yeah.
from Starburst, a horror style game?
Now, are we talking about Riddick? Or are we talking about, because there was two?
He only did one game with that, right?
There was what was it? Escape from Butcher Bay is one of them.
That's the second one.
That's the second one, the one for Xbox 360.
Yes, there's two for Xbox 360.
Well, there's one on the OG Xbox, and there's one on 360. I just sold one on the OG Xbox. I don't even
Okay,
remember.
I didn't know there was one on OG
Yeah.
Xbox, so that must be the original Pitch Black one.
And it might be the same game, but there's two different versions of
cleaner.
SKUs. Yeah, I don't.
Cleaner,
Yeah, it's back then, Spider-Man Friend or Foe. There's the PS3 and Xbox 360 version, and then there's the PS2 side scroller. They're just two different games with the same name.
But the same name.
But yeah, I would definitely, especially certain aspects of hiding in the dark, the stealth aspects of it, definitely gave it major horror vibes
for a first person
Mhm.
game. And thing
Absolutely.
is, you had no guns in that game, if I'm correct.
It was a melee game.
Yeah, it was a melee game. You had no
Yeah.
guns,
Yeah,
and you were in a prison trying to get out of the prison using your eyes of special eyes.
Yeah, here's the shine. Your eyes were shined.
Now,
I
let's
love
look
these
at
games.
basically our next little hookup here because we did PlayStation 1. So let's go ahead and hit up, I don't know, PlayStation 2. And, we have all these laundry list of games, but let's go to what people think. And I don't know why this game gets all the love, Rule of Rose. I played it. I didn't think it was that great. Manhunt, I don't consider it a horror game. I consider it basically Running Man, but more violent. Or closer to the books of Running Man if you read the book from Running Man. The Suffering 1 and 2, those are scary games.
Those are scary games.
But the scariest game I've ever played, rather than The Suffering, of course, has to be, and let me go over here to show more images,
Okay.
Silent Hill 2. I consider one of the scariest games I've ever played. Psychologically,
Yep.
it tears you apart inside. It's so different from everything else, Fatal Frame 1 or Fatal Frame 2. And then here's my favorite collection from whoever this guy is. And I'm going to zoom in on this if I can here. Let's see if we can just zoom in on that.
While you're doing that, Escape from Butcher Bay was the Xbox OG Riddick game,
Okay.
and Dark Athena was the Xbox 360 game. So there were two.
Here we go. The Thing.
Oh, that's so good. I got the remaster.
X-Files. Ghost Hunter, which we have for what do we have for the PlayStation Premium, correct?
Yep.
All right. Suffering 2, Cold Fear. I played Cold Fear. I didn't think much about it. Sony's original game, which I talked to you about numerous times, Extermination. Yep. That's from Sony Studios. They should redo that. It's a space style one. Yep. It'd be nice if they revisit that. Hello, Sony, if you're listening. Or
you need to put it on premium.
Person just bored online and just happens to catch my show on Twitch or catch the show on Twitter or even at YouTube. Remake that. You own the IP. Nothing stopping you from doing it. Obscure 1 or 2.
Okay, pause right there. Have you played Obscure?
I played 1.
Okay, not bad games. They were really, really ahead of their time with the Resident Evil style, but you like the teen, like faculty style horror. It's like lock them up in a school, have them survive. I don't remember. Were they multiplayer? Was it?
To me, I think they were single player. The only multiplayer game was the Resident Evil Outbreaks 1 and 2. There was never a multiplayer horror game other than Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the NES.
Right. So I played Obscure around the time I played the Outbreak games because there's 2 Obscure games, and there's one that's like on both consoles. Maybe there's 2 on PSP. I don't remember. I know there's at least 1 on PSP. I actually just picked up one of them on the Wii the other day, just to have, just because I'm, me, I like my horror games. But the Obscure games were so cool, man. Dude, look at that collection. Look at that Rule of Rose and Kuon right there, and Haunting Ground, Dead in the Center. Those are the 3 most expensive horror games that exist.
And if you notice, Clockwork Towers 3 was actually a really good game. I don't know if you played it. And there's 2 games missing from here. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, because I don't see that. And then, of course, what was the other game?
Now, I didn't know Nocturne was a horror game. I thought that was just an RPG.
Dude, that one is if you've never played Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne, that game is legit a horror game. That soundtrack, I used to play it for Halloween, and it spooked out kids so badly because I have the soundtrack, the actual physical soundtrack from the game, and it would scare kids so badly, I stopped playing it. I'm seriously, I don't even play that soundtrack anymore for Halloween for the kids to get candy because it would freak them out. And then I used to have the strategy guide. I think I sold the strategy guide for either $80 or $100 because it was the original pentagram, blood. It was like a blood-filled strategy guide, and it looked like it was for black magic.
That's crazy. I don't remember that. That's wild. I mean, it's hard to know everything about games, and especially even a certain genre that you like. But yeah, dude, if you look, I owned almost every single game on that list at one point in time or another. There's a few that have escaped me.
Would you say that Silent Hill fell off after 3?
Fell off as far as if you're talking about carrying the cadence of the first 3 games, then yes. The thing about Silent Hill that's always been great about it is that it's always maintained this janky, obscure psychological horror feel to it. They all feel like Silent Hill. They all play like Silent Hill. They all have weird things that happen, some that make sense, some that don't. Some games are better than others, but Silent Hill for the Room is wild.
Now, which would you say out of all these games that are present on our screen is your favorite one?
All right, so I see Code Veronica on there, Resident Evil 4 on there, the Outbreak Files. Those are probably my favorites to play.
Okay.
Off this list. Silent Hill 2 and 3, it's interesting. Josh Adams, the artist for the Godfell universe, he and I did an experiment years ago on the LOOTBROS podcast where we had a grading scale and we compared Silent Hill 1 versus Resident Evil 1, Silent Hill 2 versus Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill 3 versus Resident Evil 3, 4, and 4. And it was mind-blowing to me that by the scale that we had set forth on what we valued for points, how Silent Hill games actually would beat out Resident Evil games, even though I like Resident Evil games better than Silent Hill games. Interesting little podcast that we did. But I enjoy playing Resident Evil more than I enjoy Silent Hills, Fatal Frames, things of that nature. There's 3 games on that stat that you just showed that I've never played, even though one of them I had in my possession at one time. Haunting Ground, Kuon, and Rule of Rose. I've never played those games.
Fair enough. Now, for honorable mentions to Eternal Darkness for the GameCube.
Yep, that's a great
Geist for the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not like I'm just leaving stuff out. Okay, Blue Stinger for Sega Dreamcast.
R.I.P.
Even though I consider it an action game, and the prequel to Dead Rising, and in my personal opinion, it is the prequel to Dead Rising for those who've ever played Blue Stinger for the Sega Dreamcast and Dead Rising. You can put 2 and 2 together.
You want to hear? You want to hear
exactly? Somewhat similar in many different ways.
You want to hear a sad story? I went on I was going to start a YouTube series on my YouTube channel, Residentdarrell, and I told my brother, "This is what we're going to do. This is a Crawdaddy T Diddy exclusive right here, right? Hunter Houston exclusive, because we never did this. We may still one day, but if I do it, I want to include more people than just me and my brother. I think to make sure that it's done and hit.
Okay.
So here's my idea, right? Unfinished Business is the name of the series, where me and my podcast friends or my brother or all the above come up with a list of games that we either started and didn't finish or we wanted to own and never, ever obtained a copy of them. Games like Rule of Rose and Kuon, they're $1,000 video games. Like, yeah, I just can't justify that, right?
I had that game in my possession 2 different times.
Dude,
and I played it, and I just don't understand. Other than, like I said, for collecting purposes, the only game I ever really like wanted to keep was Overdose. It's where you play like a Mexican who does was it like bullet time, taking on cartels, and what else was it? Some other like kind of weird kind of game similar to that. Oh, Path of Neo, which I would love if Warner Brothers would do an updated version of Path of Neo and just kind of fixed it up. You had that whole Matrix demo that came out that was pretty cool for the PS5. Yeah. So why not do a Path of Neo game again? Because I would love that. That'd be awesome. But
the idea would be,
that sounds cool, man.
Well, the idea would be Unfinished Business. We make our list.
Okay.
And then for the YouTube purposes, we'd hunt the games down, right?
All right.
So whatever we got to do to get them. So each episode would be us obtaining one of the games off of our list, and in theory, to make it financially feasible and feasible as far as time goes, it would be a group thing. It would be like a Residentdarrell thing. It would be me, T Diddy, my brother, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that justifiably we could find the games and obtain the games and play the games. You don't have to beat them, but the idea would be that, like, okay, you pick the game, I pick the game, he picks the game, and then we would go hunt them, filming the whole whatever, and then it's like, oh man, I just picked up Rock Band 4. This is all my unfinished business list. Now that I've gotten it, here's a little bit of footage of me playing it, and the next week it would be T Diddy going, I finally found a copy of Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and I'm going to play, whatever. I'm just grabbing games that are on my desk. But the idea would be,
I prefer Rock Band 2, because Rock Band 2 has a pretty good list of things I like to sing.
There you go. But the idea would be that you would chase after something, and then when you find it, here we go, we shine a spotlight on it. And the unfinished business would be that, like, me and you, we ain't done. I gotta play this game. And so that was an idea that I had, but it would be around not just collecting, but actually playing through some of the games. So I tell you all that to say, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to film a couple of these episodes and edit them like really well. Not like a haphazard, thrown together edit like some of the stuff that I have put out in the past. Sidebar: some of my most recent videos are probably some of my worst edits, in my opinion, because I've lost some of the footage. But that's neither here nor there. So I would chase the videos, and I was going to film a few of them in advance. Well, to start off, my first pick for unfinished business was going to be Blue Stinger for the Dreamcast. Never owned it. Big Dreamcast fan. I know.
Never owned Blue Stinger?
I never owned it. Never
Oh my
one
God.
time. I either never had it. No, I just never owned that game. Period. So
Okay.
I was like, I'm gonna get it, and that's my first one on it. That's gonna be a real big deal for me to like take a big one off my unfinished business list and play that game. So I go and I hunt down a Dreamcast and I film the whole thing. I get a Dreamcast, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm hunting Blue Stinger. I go to a couple game stores, don't find it. Whatever. Not rushing it. This is a sidebar to the weekly videos already put out. My brother gifts it to me for my birthday. Right? He ordered it off eBay. It gives me a copy. All right. I go and put it in. Doesn't read. Like beautiful, pristine disc. Doesn't read. I'm like, man, that's crazy. So he gets his copy, puts it in his Dreamcast. Doesn't read. He's never played his copy before. He's just owned it for years. So then we go down this rabbit hole. I'm like, all right, well, like this is a pristine copy. There's no disc rot. There's no holes in it. There's no top scratches. There's no nothing. I'm like, well, worst. I mean, I'm just gonna throw it in the resurfacer. Threw it in the resurfacer. Gave it a good 2-minute scrub. Put it back in the console. Nothing. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, why is this not working?
Probably didn't have a memory card in.
Come to find out, there's a Reddit thread that said that there was apparently like a whole run of Blue Stinger games that were bad discs. Yeah. So not only did I finally get the game, but then it didn't work. And I had acquired a whole Dreamcast. I spent $120 on this Dreamcast. Then I spent an additional $30 on a VMU. So I had $150 locked like into this. And my brother, he was like, let me kind of like gift you the game. And then the fun part would be that we played a get together, right? So he's like, well, I got a copy, you got a copy. We'll play it. And we'll kind of at the end give our thoughts. So it was going to be a really complicated, long-term series that we would do occasionally, and then hopefully generate some love for this idea of like, oh man, these guys here's our hit list, and eventually we're going to make it down to Kuon. That's going to be $1,000 game. So what am I going to have to do to acquire that budget?
Now, when you acquire it, do you have to beat the whole game through in order to move on to the next game, or you just acquire it and only play 30 minutes?
If it was like,
because I recommend you beat Blue Stinger. It's actually worth beating. It's actually a fun game.
Well, the idea would be you would play it and beat it and love it and enjoy
it. And stream yourself playing it and being frustrated because the controls are a little wonky. Other than that, I mean, the game's fun. Like when you play as the big guy, like when you basically have to beat it like 3 times to get all your power-ups, like all your power-ups. And then when you do, man, the big guy has like a suplex. He has like a belly-to-belly where he can belly-to-belly the zombies and stuff. So the aliens. So it's really cool. The other guy is more of like, hey, he shoots, he kicks. He's more of the, the karate guy. But the big guy, the fisherman guy, he does all these, wrestling moves. So it really kicks ass.
Yeah. Well, that was, the idea was that you play it to completion and then we'd have a conversation almost like a podcast. And if you think about it, if that was like what you did, you could really like milk like content from one game. But then when you're done, Thomas, you're done. Like there's no unfinished business because I found it, I played it, I reviewed it, talked about it, whatever, and then I put it on the shelf. And
then every game that I have behind me, I beat almost every one of those games. I mean, you can look at my Xbox gamer tag, which I think we're friends on Xbox as well. You can look at my gamer tag, and I got like 186,000 or 160,000 in gamer point scores, and that's because I used to play everything under the sun. because I worked at EB Games / GameStop or whatever for such a long time, and they used to let us check out games, and of course I would buy them when they go on sale or
Mm-hmm.
so forth and so on.
What's your gamer tag?
My gamer tag, which I will go ahead and tell I'll wait and tell you afterwards. And not ready to tell
Message
my
it to
gamer
me
tag.
because I'm gonna look and see. I'm actually I got my Series X just brought up. I'm downloading
Yeah,
stuff.
I'll send it to you because when I had said it before on your show, I had got like a lot of people wanting to be my friends. I'm like, denied, denied. Unless you're sending me a message about you're suicidal or something like that, and we can get you help. And I'm more than glad to talk to somebody about something like that, because we did a show about that with about what was it, the guy Jason 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 Franks. Yeah.
Yeah, JDF.
Yeah.
Jason David
So
Frank.
when he committed suicide, stuff like that, and I did a couple of shows about suicide. If you want to talk about stuff like that, want to talk about us getting you help, then for sure, I want to get you help and make sure you're not in yourself or in others or hurt anybody, because that's very important. Is that you beat your demons, you pray your demons away, you ask Jesus Christ to get those demons out of your life, all these other things, and you get yourself right.
Yep.
So we want you to be safe. We want you to, if you have to, have your family 5150 you or something like that, just if you're suffering and from demon possession or something like that, we want you to get help. And I know we're talking about horror games and demons in horror games, and
Checks
there are
out.
tons of demons. Look, I don't play Doom because I actually think Doom is really demonic, like the newer Dooms. The old ones, they're like crappy graphics or whatever. But when you got to like the PS3 and you got to the Xbox 360, what was it, Doom 3?
Dude, that's a good freaking horror game.
But like it was pretty demonic. And speaking of which, let's check out some more horror games here, just to kind of wrap up our little history down horror game lane. Let's take a look at that. And there we are. Look at all those bad boys right there.
A bunch of bangers on that list.
And this tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the PlayStation Plus, you'll be able to play Alan Wake 2 for free. Now, I downloaded because I have premium version, just like Residentdarrell. I downloaded the trial version, so mine's already downloaded, and I've already played an hour and 30 minutes, and I'll continue to play the rest when it's free from PlayStation Plus.
That's
I have
really
Until
smart.
Dawn.
It's a
I have
smart way to do
Resident
it.
Evil 4. Outlast. I never thought Outlast was that great. Of course, Alien Isolation. I didn't think was that great. Dead Space remake. It's a give and take. But Little Nightmares. I didn't expect Little Nightmares to be that scary, and it was kind of scary in its own little way. It almost reminded me of Limbo. For those who ever
Yeah,
played
yeah,
Limbo.
yeah. Yeah. I thought Little Nightmares was decent. Little Nightmares 2, I didn't like nearly as much.
But there are so many different horror games out there for the 360, the Xbox, One, the Xbox Play, whatever you want to call it. And I still have. Let's go back to regular screen here. I still have the original PT demo on my PS4. So I still have a
Pull one out.
PS4 with PT on it. So if someone ever wants to buy that from me and have PT, because that's the only way you're going to have it is if it's on that system, then pony up for $300 or hook me up with a PS5, and you can have PT just like that.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. I had that downloaded on my hard drive, and then my youngest son at the time, took a bunch of PS Vita games out of the case and stuck them all in the PS4. And when he did, it messed up my disk drive, and it ended up breaking there's like a drawbar that receives the games in and out. It ended up
Okay.
breaking that. So I was messing with.
To this day, he can't play PlayStation, ladies and gentlemen. He has to play Xbox or Nintendo.
Yeah, I did put him on Xbox for a while. No, but yeah, long story short, I had to set my console off. I had to wipe the hard drive, replace the disk drive.
That sucks.
Yep, lost my copy of PT. And the cool thing is I got a couple of YouTube videos floating out there on random channels where I did full walkthroughs with like old podcast hosts. So there are videos out there that exist of me playing it with people, but I don't get to just turn it on and try it, or I don't get to get my kids to play it. It's like maybe one day I'll get a PS4 that has it on there, and I'm actually going to pick up 2 PS4s tomorrow, but I doubt they're going to have
The filthiest of the resellers right here.
I don't know, man.
He'll be on the next episode of Pickin' Preacher.
Yeah, well, I don't know, dude. I've been on a bit of a dry spell on my filthiness lately, so I need some filthy deals. I'm supposed to pick up 2 PS4s and an Xbox One tomorrow. I'm kind of paying up for them, and I'm scared they're not going to work. But she says they do, but you know how that is.
Well, what type of PS4? A PS4 Slim, a PS4 Pro? The Pro
A regular,
model?
so a regular PS4 and a PS4 Slim, but the Gold Edition. So that was one of the Days of Play editions.
So the regular PS4 should be $50 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm paying $40 a piece for all.
Okay, all
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know how it is, man. You got to pair it with games, and you got to put it on Marketplace, and then you'll get $80 to $100 for it after people stand you up 3 times and whatever.
And I'm assuming it's 500 gig hard drive in both of them.
Yeah, if they work, yeah. Which I mean, cool thing is like I was saying earlier, I went through my 4th interview for this position today, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna take it. I got a job. I got an interview tomorrow with a local company that I used to work for. They've actually asked me to come back, and so we're going to talk tomorrow about that and just kind of over lunch and see if there's maybe something we can do. But most likely I'm going to say yes to this. So I'm like, well, I'm picking up some PS4s. Now I have a travel PS4. So
you said you're going to go to North Carolina if you get the job. You can go to Chris's store. Shout out Chris in his store in North Carolina.
What's the name of his store? Because I've heard a lot of people mention it.
I cannot think of it right off the bat.
I feel like didn't Will just say the same thing Sunday or Saturday?
Yeah, he said the exact same thing. Like I want to shout him out.
Everybody shouts out the guy, but never remembers the name of the store.
But the thing is, I play Call of Duty with him, Sean, and with Will. Okay, and every now and then Reggie will be in there. And by the way, Reggie is not the best teammate when it comes to Call of Duty. I'm not trying to call him out or anything, but
Shots fired, Reggie.
Oh, well, Will is I go and do my own damn thing, while like Sean's like, I'm objective, I'm going to try to help you if I can. And then I'm like when I first started playing with him, and I didn't know how to play Warzone. I'm like, yeah, buy us back. I'm like, how the hell do you buy somebody back? I'm like, you not knowing how to play the game is no excuse for not buying us back. I'm like, look here, mofo.
Dude, I've never been invited to any Call of Duty matches. So
do you have Call of Duty?
I have all the Call of Duties.
Well then, dude, every Sunday, you will catch, based almost the whole team of PlayStation Ain't Dead playing COD. So just any Sunday, hop on and I'll send you an invite. If you hop on around 1, it's either 1 or 2 o'clock, because that's usually by the time that basically Will's getting his ass up. About around 1 or 2 o'clock, Will be on. And then because Sean's already on and Chris is on with Sean, and boo to Sean for guilt tripping Chris to play one more game of the Call of Duty beta. I was like, he gave him this huge guilt trip. I was like, don't let Sean bully you into playing another game. And then Sean started laughing. I was like, that's right. I ain't gonna let you sit there and bully Chris into playing a game of COD. Because it's the beta for the new COD is coming out,
right?
And it's like, oh, it's okay, man. I was going to get off after one game anyway.
That's funny. And no. Sundays are you know me. Sundays are busy. Sunday morning we have church. I'm on the teaching team for our student ministry, and then so Sunday afternoons are usually like family catch up, go to the different things, do whatever because we have sports and whatever throughout the week. And then Sunday nights is our big student ministry gathering. It's usually 150, 170 students get together. And this Sunday, I'm teaching both in the morning and in the evening. So I'm pulling double duty. So I would love to get into the Call of Duty stuff, but man, that is Sunday's a...
Well, it's usually, man, you could probably catch them on around also like 3 or maybe 4 o'clock. But I'm usually in there for 2 or 3 games until my child comes in and says, Daddy, I would like to play Infinity Nikki or Ghost of Yute. And I'm like, boys, I gotta leave.
Gotta go.
So That is what it is. Now we got one more thing to look at here before we get uh, up on out of this place or start giving our farewells and everything.
I hope you're
And
not trying to
if
pull
you're
up the.
looking,
Whoa! Look at that
look at
guy.
that. Look at that. Now we got our Ninja Loot, which I'm subscribed to, but I'm not subscribed to Ninja Loot topics because I don't know what to even talk about because I don't do death metal like that.
So
I
you want
just
me
do
to explain
metal,
what the
speed
difference
metal,
is?
thrash, hard rock, so forth and so on. Now, if you see, look at that. You got some pretty cool stuff going on here. You got like, ooh, the live official lyric video and just all these different songs, views,
The
and plus
topic
you
is
can
the.
actually buy these albums, ladies and
That's right.
gentlemen.
That's right.
And where can they buy these albums or singles or songs from, or where can they listen to your
So
music?
everything's available on all your major streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We're all
Now make sure
and
you put in Ninja Loot Music. If you do not put in Ninja Loot Music, you'll get everything but Ninja Loot.
because that's an old World of Warcraft term. But yeah. So we're available on all your major music streaming platforms, whatever. Ninja Topic on there is actually the distributor that we use. They create their own like YouTube link to your music. I didn't realize it was this when it gives you the option when you're paying because you pay yearly to be hosted so you can get on the streaming platforms. When I was paying our host, they're like, "Do you want to be able to use the stuff on YouTube?" I'm like, "Absolutely. I'm going to put it on there." So like, why would I not say yes to that? What I didn't realize is that it populates their own version on YouTube to which they get all the streaming revenue from. Not that there's a lot from our stuff, but I mean, but yeah, we've been kicking around the idea. Next year is the 20-year anniversary of the inception of our band, so we've been kicking around an idea of actually finishing an album to put out for next year.
Have you
But
thought about basically trying to get some of your music or even some of your riffs licensed out to horror games or to horror game startups and just basically just donating them and just getting that shot out and being put on their little radar? Because I thought like, because I listened to some of your riffs and the riffs are really good and some of them have some really nice overtones that would be great for horror films or even horror games, like
yeah,
even like an 8-bit horror game.
yes, the answer is yes. I actually spent a couple years trying to strike up some deals like that, and nothing has come of it yet. I'm supposed to have music in games. I've donated music. I've actually donated music to other bands, and they got record deals from it. I donated a 3-track EP that my band. I wrote just some riff tracks, riff drums, whatever, just scratch stuff is what you call it. Actually, I had like 20 to 30 tracks. I was like, hey, here's like, I've been cooking in the lab. Here's a bunch of stuff. Now, I know all of it in its current version is not like what you would want to use, but there's definitely some stuff in there we can pull out and go, this is good, this is good, this is not so much. Long story short, none of the guys wanted to use any of it. I donate 3 songs, right? Donate 3 songs. This dude takes it, he puts his lyrics over the top of it, gets picked up by Rottweiler Records. Like,
Very cool.
oh my gosh. So 3 tracks that I wrote went to somebody else and he got
Well,
signed. Now, he put a whole
hopefully they
band out.
ever make it big or whatever, they'll give you a shout out. Because again, I mean, I'm a riff guy. I'm all about riffs. I'm an 80s man or 70s man or even early 90s guy. And to me, it's all about if that guitar speaks to me or if those riffs hit me the right way. Now, you're a new metal guy. Your whole thing is new metal, and if there was any game, now Fred Durst has been in a lot of games. Has Fight
Good.
Club. He's been in SmackDown.
That's right.
I think there's been like 2 other games. If there's any game that you could be in, if it's not a Resident Evil game, what game would you want to be in and why?
If I'm not going to be in a horror game, I would want my music in some kind of first-person shooter, high action. I'll give you 2 answers. If it's not horror, right? If that's not an option, then like a Battlefield, Call of Duty, something like that, where it's just like you need just the upbeat, a high tempo, fast pace, whatever Doom style game, or a Def Jam Vendetta style fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like a WWE style fighter, something where it's like, all right, you got like rocking intro music. You know what I'm saying?
I just said that Def Jam should be brought back. Now, Will had mentioned it because I had mentioned it in their chats live when I was watching them live on a Saturday night, and then he mentioned Def Jams. And then their problem was is licensing the music and who the music belongs to. My whole thing is I don't even want the musics. I just want the fight mechanics. I want the characters. And you could just do like random techno music, rock music, whatever.
Right.
Because if the music's too much of a problem, but if you pay those characters, that was a fun game. You don't even have to have some of those characters. You can just make those characters, change the faces or whatever. The game was just fun onto itself. Fight for New York and Def Jam's Vendetta were both amazing games. Now the last one for the Xbox 360, what was it? Def Jam's Volume Icon. Total crap game. Hated that game. Garbage game.
I didn't know it was a fighting game. I thought it was like a DJ, like a rhythm game.
No, it was a fighting game. It's always been a fighting game.
I have no idea. I've never played that one.
Yeah, all three were fighting games. The best one, and believe it or not, man, Def Jam's Fight for New York is more MMA style. That's when MMA was coming up. But the first one, the Def Jam's Vendetta, straight up wrestling game, but super quick arcade style.
I love that one more than
beautiful. Love that game. But there's any game. So in other words, like let's say you said something like Def Jam's Vendetta. So let's say WWE, or if it wasn't called WWE, let's say Retro Game Studios, the ones who make retro wrestling. If those guys, if you talk to RGT85, because he knows those guys personally,
right?
Said, hey man, can you get me in touch with these guys? Would you let them use your licensed music?
Oh, 110% for free.
Because there's that game's actually a decent game. I got it while it was on sale. I think it was on sale for like $10. It's usually it's $29.99, and it was like on sale I think for $15 or something other. And I picked it up and I love the game. They just got new DLC for $10. It's Macho Man Randy Savage, Magnum was it not Magnum PI, Magnum TA, Magnum TA,
yep.
Rock and Roll Express. And I think I don't know if the Midnight Express, but I know it's the Rock and Roll Express, Macho Man Randy Savage, maybe Jake the Snake. I don't know if Jake the Snake made it in. Probably wanted too much money knowing him. But Randy Savage is definitely in, and Rock and Roll Express, and I can't think of who were the other person. Oh, Magnum TA is in, the former NWA World Champion, who got injured in a car crash from Alabama and never wrestled again, and it's unfortunate. And he is the stepfather of Tessa Blanchard, for those who know wrestling. Very so nice. all the wrestling skills she has, she didn't learn from Tully Blanchard because he wasn't really in the picture. She learned from Magnum, her stepdad, which is Magnum TA.
Nice.
That's why if you ever watch Tessa Blanchard wrestle?
Oh yeah.
You know her Power Slam?
Mm-hmm.
That's Magnum TA's Power Slam. If you watch Magnum TA back in the day, old videos of him, or just just look up Magnum TA's Power Slam, same everything, perfectly done, crisp. And Homeboy was a clean worker. If you look at his matches, everything's very clean and technical. And if he wouldn't have got hurt, man, he'd probably been one of the bigger stars. Because remember, I mean, Dusty was pushing him to the moon. And so was Flair. But I digress. That was a long time ago. And I'm old, and I know old wrestling. I don't want to talk new wrestling anymore, especially what they're doing. And then you have all the, son, I'm almost done. But I don't want to talk wrestling just because the fact is I'm so mad at WWE. And
me too.
AEW is I'm not going to say they're too arrogant to get out of their own way, and they're thinking that we just have to have a mud show all the time. Dude, they could be beating WWE right now if they would just tone down the unnecessary violence, clean up their storylines, make a plea phone call to two different people, two different bookers who could book. Let Jim Ross go back to booking, because he can book. and then call up Jim Cornette and say, Jim, here's $1 million. Give us 6 months of storylines. Go. Who should be on TV and who shouldn't? Guarantee you, Jim Cornette will set them straight. Now,
Yep.
top 5 horror games, and we shall call it a night, sir.
My top 5?
Top 5.
Now, these aren't necessarily top 5
They don't
based
have to be in order. Just 5 horror games that you like a lot.
This isn't, this is just stuff that I like.
Go ahead and give you mine first if you like.
Oh, you're good. I just want to put a caveat in there. Like, I'm not saying in order of
Okay.
scariest. These are just games that are horror games that I love.
Okay.
OG Resident Evil 2 on the PS1.
Okay.
Resident Evil 5. Dying Light. That's
Okay.
like my boom. That's my go-to list. Top 3 right there. Next up, I'm going to go with Resident Evil Code Veronica. Silent Hill 2.
Okay.
That's my list.
My list is a very, very simple list. Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne.
Okay.
That game scares the crap out of me. I still love Friday the 13th for the NES, so that's on my list.
Okay.
Silent Hill 2.
Yep.
That's always my winner. And then the last 2, Resident Evil 5, because I beat that game at least 50 times.
Same.
Like with or without somebody. I beat that game a lot.
Yeah,
I love it. Okay, and the very last one, which will throw people for a loop, and it is considered in the horror game genre, and you have to beat it twice to get the true ending, Ghosts and Goblins.
Oh, that game's so hard.
and no, you got to do it with the daggers. And then if you die the second playthrough, you have to start all the way over and beat it again.
Dude, no, I hated that game because it was so difficult.
Back in the day, for a summer when I was like either 9 or 10. So that's how dedicated I was to video gaming back then when I wasn't playing outside.
Yep. Now, Code Veronica is one of those interchangeable ones where, like, depending on how I'm feeling, like Parasite Eve. Probably.
I'm waiting on the remake for Code Veronica. I can't wait for that game.
I got a feeling it's going to be good. I think
it's going to be great. That's a great game.
Resident Evil 8. I could put that in my top 5 any day of the week. Resident Evil 7. Dino Crisis 2. Oof, gosh, there's some good ones.
7's just so creepy. I don't even consider it a Resident Evil game.
It's pretty creepy. 8. Did you played 8, right?
I beat 8 twice.
Okay. Did you get the DLC or the Gold Edition?
I have yet to get the DLC. I'm gonna wait till it goes down because it's always $10 when it goes down. If it goes down past $10, I will finally break down and buy it because I want to play it in third person.
Yes, that's what I was going to tell you. So I think right now Xbox of all places has a deal on the Ultimate Edition of 7 and 8 as a combo. That's like $15 or $20 together. But you get both games and all their DLC. The third person playing through that game, I beat it 8 times. Okay. And then I played through on third person. I'm like,
did you play it with a VR headset on?
I played 7 with VR.
Okay. That game, did you play the tech demo for 7?
Kitchen? Yes.
Yes, the kitchen.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, that was crazy creepy. And I had to get rid of my headset when my child got old enough to be interested in it for VR. Because of like I didn't want her, hopping on. Her eyes are too young for it anyway. But I didn't want her being curious to say, "Hey, let me go play one of these horror games." That I had my mom check out Resident Evil, and it creeped her out so bad. The kitchen. She's like, "Yeah, no."
Yeah, it's wild. It's totally wild.
But is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we get out of here for the night, sir?
Now I'm just going to give a shout out to you, T. Diddy. I was listening a while back, a few nights ago. I was listening just to some old LOOTBROS episodes. And, man, we had some fun. We were doing some crazy, crazy cool stuff. I'll give a shout out to Will over at PlayStation and Dead. That's a funny dude. He's so funny. His comedic timing is A1. It's great. And he is a pot stirrer. Like, he is always just kind of getting junk started up. So love that dude. Shout out to Tricky over at Proven Gamer, Trophy Horrors. It's a good friend of mine. It's been a good friend of mine for nearly 10 years now. And he and I just did some Patreon content together. I just love that dude. So I'm trying to be a better friend to all of you guys. and set aside time for us to do things together, whether it's podcasting or playing some games together. I have let the last couple of years of just the business I was trying to
I
grow.
gave you credit on a couple of shows ago about you helping me on Gears of War and like finding all the dog,
We
helping
got to
me
finish
find lots
that.
of dog tags. So
Yeah,
thank you.
we got to finish that. But I just allowed the two businesses that I was trying to grow consume all my free time, and I ain't doing that anymore.
Well, you have 3 kids, so it controls a lot of time, dude.
Yeah.
My one eats up almost my whole day. So when I'm free, when I get home, she wants all my time all the time. So the only time I'm really free is like 8:40 or slash 8:30, and then I'm free, and then I'm like, I'm thinking about what I want to do, and then like taking her everywhere to all her activities. That hey, you have to take your kids to their activities, so
Yeah.
forth and so on, like soccer, volleyball, da da
Mhm.
da. So that eats up a lot of time, and they don't realize like you have a job to do. You have all these other things going on. You have to manage a relationship with your wife. You have a side chick allegedly. Um,
Not me.
I,
So,
I'm kidding, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't have time for that or the money. Um,
or the desire. I tell my wife all the time. She's like, don't ever leave me. Don't ever whatever. Blah blah. I was like, dude. So anything ever happen to you? I'm done. I am done. I was like, I've done slavery before. I ain't going back.
oh, I've had my own this 18-year-old Korean girl for a while.
Free at
Joking, of
last.
course.
Free at
It's an
last.
old joke from the only movie that I consider Tom Hanks funny in, which is Bachelor Party, where he's talking to the parents before he marries Tawny Katane, where they're doing like they're getting ready to go out and play tennis or whatever, and they're having like a brunch or a lunch, and it's like, so are y'all thinking about kids? And Tom Hanks's character says, "Oh yeah, I've had my eye on this 18-year-old Korean girl for a while," and like her mother looks at him. So I just always loved that joke, and I've
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
used it all these years. I just thought it was so damn funny. And this is even as a little boy, I would use that joke. So I've loved that joke from The Bachelor Party. Now that's a raunchy movie, so I don't recommend anybody watching that
No.
unless because it's super raunchy. But Tawny Kitane's super hot in that movie. Um, for those who know who Tawny Katane is, basically she's the video girl from White Snake. If you've seen any White Snake video, that's Tawny Katane.
There you go. The more
And,
you know.
and she's one hell of a coke monkey, and that's not even allegedly. She was a coke monkey. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, shout out to Residentdarrell for being on the show again. Shout out to Will Schultz and the gang, Sean Powers. Ladies, he is still single and he's on Tinder and he's ready to mingle. Uh, Shout out to James. Shout out to the Radical One, Radical Reggie. Shout out to everybody out there in the wonderful, beautiful game industry. And keep playing games. Try to be lucky, wear the old leaf clover, and always survive in your games. Because you never know when your dreams are going to come true or when it's going to be a nightmare. Peace out.